The Honourable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, I am grateful once again for this great privilege to make a few comments on the Cyber Crimes Bill. Madam Speaker, once again, you do recall that I had actually prepared amendments to the bill at a time when the bill was first introduced before Parliament. And one of the amendments I was going to propose, Madam Speaker, Clause 10. Now, Clause 10, Madam Speaker, and this is what I find very strange. The Clause 30 in the other bill, the Security Bill, has been copied and minor changes have been made, and they've also inserted it in the Crimes Bill. What is in Clause 30, Madam Speaker, is about recording private conversations in the Securities Bill. In the Crimes Bill, surprisingly, under Clause 10(3)(b), Madam Speaker, they've retained a clause which is similar to the one in the other bill, where they are basically saying a law enforcement officer, based on reasonable suspicion. Now, Madam Speaker, the stakeholders that were invited to appear before your committee raised a very important concern. Their concern was, who determines reasonable suspicion? Who has the liberty, who has the wisdom, who has the tools to be able to analyze that here there's reasonable suspicion that person A and person B are going to cause harm to society? Madam Speaker, Clause 10(3)(b), which is actually in this bill we are discussing, once again I want to use the word, will be abused. It is a very dangerous provision, Madam Speaker, because it does not provide a safeguard. What safeguard must be provided, Madam Speaker? The Minister in his policy statement said one of the objectives of this bill is to protect people's rights. Now, Madam Speaker, we can't protect people's rights if we are going to allow a clause as dangerous, a clause which says reasonable suspicion, based on reasonable suspicion, Madam Speaker, people can be recorded. That I find to be very dangerous, Madam Speaker. And if we are going to pass this bill into a law, Madam Speaker, I for one will not be part of it if that provision is retained. And I want to put it on record, Madam Speaker, that if this is the bill we are proposing to be enacted into law, the people of Kamfinsa who want to be on record will move an amendment, Madam Speaker, to ensure that that particular provision, Clause 10(3)(b), which says, based on reasonable suspicion, a law enforcement officer can record a private conversation. Madam Speaker, these are the fears. These are the fears that people have out there. And it may sound to be a very easy and non-controversial issue, Madam Speaker, but it borders on the rights of citizens. I don't think that we are creating a law based on the dynamics today. We are creating a law that is supposed to be useful today, Madam Speaker, 5 years from now and 10 years from now. How should the law be structured, Madam Speaker?